To have emerged from the coronavirus pandemic is the miles and miles of cycle lanes many cities are introducing to their roads. For some, the move is temporary. For some, this will be an enduring change. New York City has got an extra 65 kilometres of extended bike lanes for the duration of its lockdown. In Paris, 650 kilometres of cycleways are being built and subsidies offered to cyclists. Milan is installing 35 kilometres of bike lanes in an effort to encourage biking. And in the Albanian capital, Tiranën, people have not been able to drive their cars during the lockdown, so the city has been building additional cycle lanes. Around 4 kilometres have been built so far. Well, joining me now is the Tiranën Mayor, Erion Veliaj. Thank you very much, Mr. Veliaj, for joining us. So some positive news there out of this health crisis.
Well, it's been fantastic. Thanks for having me. I just entered the office to find out that all the bike shops had declared the city sold out of the bikes, which was fantastic news. We had never heard this before. We came to be the North Korea of Europe until 1990, 1991. Everybody was on bike or on foot. And then with the advent of democracy and, of course, capitalism, one trophy symbol to show mostly to your neighbors that you made it was to go to the UK or to go to Germany and to bring back a Range Rover or a Mercedes, mostly as a trophy, as a medal, as a reward, rather than as a means of transport from A to B. And for a long time, we've been pushing and we've been calculating that, look, in a city of 1 million people, we do 800,000 car segment trips a day, out of which 400,000 are less than 1 kilometer. Like going to the grocery store, going to the barber, or going to buy bread or go to a coffee house. But then with the pandemic, I think with the crisis came a great opportunity. Because cars were banned, it was going back to the basics and not mimicking communism, but still being able to remember the generation of our parents that did just fine.
And so is this something that's just the case now, or do you see a long-term change?
Well, we call them pop-up lanes, but they will be there forever. The reason we call them pop-up lanes is because we quickly occupy lanes of parking with very basic infrastructure. And of course, you get these urban legends like, oh, but we're not Copenhagen, we're not Amsterdam. Well, Copenhagen and Amsterdam were not those cities 50 years ago when this movement started. So now the question is, can we do in 5 months what some of these cities have done in 50 years?
Clearly Albanians have embraced this because, as you say, all the bikes have been sold out.
Well, first, I think the magic happened with children. Look, you know, you're always suspicious of a politician. Even I am suspicious of politicians, but you can't be suspicious of your own kids. So the first one, what we call the indicative species, just like in nature, the first species that confirms a habitat, in our case, it's children. In nature, it's a bird. You know, we've seen flamingos in the coast of Albania. But in the cities, in the urban habitat, when kids go and they try, then they drag their whole parents, because then parents have to buy a bike to chase after their kid. So it's been fantastic. And all of a sudden, this, you know, advocates of change who are not taxpayers, who are not voters, who don't have any dogma, strings from the past, they're called children, are basically running this revolution. So we sometimes joke, we say, look, the biggest infrastructure or the most difficult infrastructure to change in a city, it's 10 centimeters from here to here.
So can I ask, are you riding around on a bicycle in town now?
I am, and it's great fun. You know, when you know, the Prime Minister calls a meeting, we've had a lot of these events. You know, everybody has to go with their entourage to go around this ring road because we've declared all of downtown car-free. And it feels great to be the first in the meeting because it only takes 2 minutes to zip down the line of a protected bike lane.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, Erion, but thank you so much for joining us. It's great insight there on the situation in Albania. That's it from me and the team here on BBC World News. Matthew coming up next with all the latest headlines.